Hi, welcome. My name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Actually, I don't feel like I'm sitting straight onto my table. Anyway, I've just finished a card making class here in my home. Just had a friend come over and we made a card, and this is the card that we made. Whoops, let me just flip this down so then you can see what I'm talking about. So there's the card that we made today, and I thought we're going to, because I've got a couple of kits left over because a couple of people couldn't come, so which is all this over here. I thought we might remake this card with you today, but I might just step it up a little bit and see what else that we can do with this card. With this idea. It's just a fairly basic sort of card, just using a couple of pieces of designer series paper. I've used the designer series paper to cut out the flowers, to stamp and cut out the flowers, a basic happy birthday, and a bit of ribbon. So there's nothing really a lot to it. So let's have a play. Let's step it up and see where we can go from here. So I'm going to start off with, and before I go any further, please jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from. Now, I will be placing up the tutorial for this card on my blog. I will see how I go with the step up, and if it turns out really good, well then, hey, I might even put that one up there as well. So let's start creating. So, as I said, jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from, and it will be great to have you here with us. So I've grabbed a piece of vellum, I've grabbed a bit more basic white cardstock, and I'm going to start by putting maybe some of the basics of this card together. So that would be my card insert, and I have got a strip here of designer series paper that is to go in on the edge of that. So I'm just working out which one is which. I think it's this one here. And I'm going to start by popping. Oh, they're both about the same length. I thought I had different lengths. Hold on a second. I have cut them the same. That's all right. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a border then around the sizes there. So let me grab my adhesive and let's put this all together. So excuse me, I still have my cough a little bit, so if I have a little bit of a coughing fit, don't worry, I will continue on the best I can. It is getting better, which is great. Okay then, so we're going to pop that piece onto there. I've got our card base here in Secret C, wrong one. Let's pop those die cut flower leaves up there. So let's pop this piece in here. Now I'm not necessarily doing this in the same format as my tutorial, but that's okay. So far everything's pretty much straightforward. Just going to move that across a little bit. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. Hello, Anita. Thanks for joining us. So that's the start of this card. So let me have a look. So I've got a mat here in cloud cover, and I've got a piece of designer series paper in the blue cloud cover. Now, of course, this is using the lovely arrangements, and I can't think now what the actual designer series paper is called, because the suite is the name of the designer series paper. I'll have to look that up, and I've put it away this morning, but I know it's written on my, it's called Lovely Blossoms. There we go. It's written on my tutorial. So we're going to pop this one onto here. So Anita, I don't know whether you missed it or not, but I had a class here today and I've got a couple of kits left over. So we're going to recreate this card here that I made in my class, but we're going to do a few things to just to step it up a little bit more. Okay, so that piece goes on there. Now, this strip here was to go down there, but I think what I might want to do is add a little bit more of a trim. We are going to add some ribbon onto there, but I want to build that out a little bit more, I think. So what I've got, piece of basic white here. Let me put my lid on my glue so it doesn't dry out. And I've got this lovely die here, and we're going to create a trim to go down the side of this card. So let me pop all this to one side, and we'll grab out my carton emboss. Thank you, Anita. Oh, the lovely blossoms is beautiful. I love this die. I could get rid of the whole lot and just keep this die. Or actually, I'd like this die bigger. I love being able to make these circles or to make the scallop trim that we're going to be using. Okay, so let's just cut that. So this is the add-on to my original card. Let's just pop all those to one side, pull that out. So I hope you've been having a lovely week. The temperature here has been going backwards and forwards. We've had a few storms and cooler nights and hot nights, and every day seems to be a little bit different. Okay, now I want to create a border, a scallop border to go on here. And what I want to do is use up these two outer edges here. Now normally I would cut these two away, but I want to have a look at, I want to have that onto there, but I also want to pop the ribbon on there. So I'm going to pop that to there. My ribbon is going to go over the top. So I want that to actually border my ribbon. Now I can see that through there. Okay, so wonder how this is going to look. Let's just see. The ribbon, even though it's a dense sort of ribbon, has got a little bit of sheerness through it. So I don't know. Yeah, you can see that on screen. You can see how those scallops are showing through. So what I want to do is cut this down through here. So I want that nice edge that's been cut by the die. And let's do it the same on this side. Again, giving me a nice edge. So what we're left with is we've got one edge, because there's our centerpiece. This one came from that side. This one came from that side. We've cut them away, and we want these two outer edges there to be on, to be viewed, basically. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Yeah, it's been a bit cool. It was great for last night for sleeping. The night before was very hot. Yeah, it's a nice one to play with. Okay, now, as I said, I want to join these two together. We've got to make sure we need to keep those two nice edges that were cut by the die together. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue. Now we do need to use our grid here because we want this piece to be straight. We don't want to glue these together and to be crooked. Now hopefully where I'm joining this is going to get hidden underneath the flowers. So I'm just lining this up, just making sure while I'm using that multi-purpose glue, and I've got a little bit of slip, that I'm getting those all perfectly lined. And that is going to be longer than that area there. Now I could very easily just adhere that onto there. I've just had another idea. What if we went on top of that? Now that would be different. Okay, I like that better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bead of glue down the length of my DSP. And then I'm going to adhere that onto here. Now, I want to move this around a little bit because I want to have my scallops nicely lined up on this down this way, but also on the outer top and bottom as well. I'm a little bit pedantic about that sort of thing. So just push that in there a little bit. So I've just lined that up with where the scallop goes in on each one. So once we've done that, we can trim this top and bottom away. And you can't even see where I overlapped those two circles to form that join. Okay, let's just get rid of all this rubbish. Now, I want to pop this now onto that ribbon. I'm trying to, so that's going to go to about there. If I line this up on my grid, I want this ribbon to come out about there. And I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to adhere this onto there. I could, I suppose, actually I probably could. I'm going to put a little bit of seal in the middle. I don't like using a lot of seal on the back or a lot of adhesives on the back of ribbons. And it's only just because I know that I'm going to be putting flowers on there that I can cover that up if any of that glue comes through. So I'm just putting this on here. I'm lining up this edge with that heavy line on my plate, and I think my ribbon is going to come out to this dotted line here. So I'm going to line up the right-hand side of my ribbon edge to that dotted line. And that should give me, I hope, that nice and straight. Now I'm going to flip this over because I've only got adhesive in that section there, and I'm going to pop a little bit of seal on this, on either side there, and then I'm just going to line this up again just to make sure that I've got my ribbon still going in the right spot there, and tuck that under, and then again on this side here and tuck that under. Now I do need to pull this end here up a little bit tighter. And I'm going to just check, line that up with my grid on my mat. Yes, that's lined up with that, and I need to pull the tight one. This is a fairly soft ribbon, and I find that I like to have it firm, and I need to go back a couple of times just to get that nice and firm. Now, hopefully that is sitting as straight as it possibly can. And I think it is. It might be just slightly out, but that's pretty good there. Okay, I'm happy with that. And now we're going to adhere that over the top of that one. So that's a little bit of a point of difference with the other card. So let's add some adhesive on here. Hello, Lorraine. Hello, Debbie. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So let's just pop a little bit of glue there, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on here because that will be pretty much on the ribbon. So again, just lining up my designer series papers along that left-hand side. and adhering that down. So here's my original card that I'm just stepping up a little bit more, and now we've added that, and that makes a big difference, doesn't it? Oh, I'm glad you found me too, Lorraine. It's always nice having you on here. Okay, so that's that to start with. So let's now stamp our flowers. I'm still going to do the flowers the same way. So let's just pop those to one side and grab the flowers. Because it's nothing easier than stamping your flowers onto some pretty designer series paper. It's already then coloured for you. And I want to stamp one of this large flower. And just remember, we're just tapping down on our ink pads. We don't need to press it firmly. I don't know why I stamped right in the middle, but that's okay because they're going to get cut out anyway. And then I'm going to stamp 2 of these smaller flowers, whether they are smaller, but the flowers are just going in a different direction. Okay. Pop that over there. Pop that on my there as well. And let's cut these out. So let me just grab the dies for these. And I think I might use a different sentiment. And I'm going to grab that one out as well. So let's cut these. Now, I always find it's very tricky with this particular sweep to get these dies to line up, but if you just go around fairly slowly, feeling I might have been close before. I think, yep, that's it there. Still haven't found a new tape that I'm happy with. We'll grab this one. That one on there. Just need to cut out one more. So what has everybody got planned for this weekend? Anything exciting? Anybody off to do anything? Go anywhere? Holiday? Visiting family? I think Joe and I are just spending a quiet weekend at home depending on what the weather does. Joe will probably want to mow the grass outside by the looks of the... Just having a quick look. We've had so much rain this last week. We'll probably grow for an inch or two in the next few days. I hope to do a bit of crafting. Well, that's good. I'm hoping... I've got about 3 scrapbook pages here lying around that I need to finish, and another one in my head because I got the soccer paper the other day, and I've got stacks of soccer photos of my son because he was a fanatic soccer player. Okay, now what was the other idea I had? I wanted to do something with the vellum. So where did I pop that vellum? Here. And I was thinking I was thinking of doing these little leaves in vellum, but I've already got them cut out. Now, I'm wondering what I might do instead of that is I'll grab this other stamp here. This one. Need a block, and I'm going to grab the white embossing powder and that, and then let's grab some Versamark and let's make some vellum leaves using this particular one here. So let me just pop some embossing powder, or not the embossing powder, but the this powder on here. Just takes away all the static out of your paper, or all the fingerprints, the grease from your fingers. So when you lay down your embossing powder, it doesn't stick. So I'm going to stamp 3 of these. One, I know you can't see them, but I can just see them here. 2, and I'm going to do a 3rd one and just turn it around a little bit at an angle so I can get a 3rd one in here. 3. Now I need some copy paper or something. Here we go. What have I got here? I've just got measurements and everything all over it, so that's all right. We can use that. Let's pop that on there. I love using vellum for leaves. I just think it just gives you such a beautiful, whimsical look. Okay, if we got that covered well, I might just do a little bit more of a, getting embossing powder everywhere here. Yep, that's looking good to me. So let's just pop all this away. Don't waste it. This can be used again. Just going to give that a little bit more of a flick to get it all in that crease down there. The reason why I put a crease in my paper is so that it just helps me to create a funnel to pop all that back into the bottle. Excuse me. Okay, so once we've done that, we need our heat gun. And we're going to heat this, and I'm going to heat this from the back. I'm going to turn it down to a low. So I've got it on. Our Stampin' Up heat guns have got 2 levels of heat. They've got a 1 and a 2, 2 being the strongest. I just want the 1 just to heat this up from the back, because it can make your vellum warp a little bit, and I don't really want to do that. Oh, I'm glad your left hand is starting to feel a bit better. That's fantastic. Yes, I've got to get in and finish these scrapbook layouts before I start the soccer one. I'm just itching to do the soccer one. I was looking at photos this morning. Okay. Still has warped a little bit, and I probably could have got a little bit of powder on that leaf there better, but that's okay. That will work. By the time I put this through cut and emboss, probably a little bit too much powder on there. I might even just give that another try, because I've lost all the veining. So probably that second lot of, let's just grab this again, and let's just repeat this. Hello, Pam from Queensland. Thank you very much for joining us. We're just stepping up a card that I made earlier today, and I'm just not quite happy with my embossing here, so we're going to try this again. Now, I did put that stamp down, and there it is. We're going to just give this another try, and then we'll work out which ones are the best. 2, 3. Let's bring this in again and see if we can get a better image. Okay, I need a little bit more there. A little bit more on that one, but I'm not putting as much as, oh, I think I missed a bit with my inking there because that's not even wanting to take. Let's just try it again. Yeah, my paper is slightly bowed here, so we'll give this a go. Even if I can get 2 good ones. Definitely didn't use as much powder this time around. By the time we put things on top of it, we may not even notice those anyway. So let's just put this on a low temp again. And I think the tip of my leaf might not be the greatest either. So let's just heat this up again. Starting to turn, not quite. Yeah, there we go. You want to make sure that you get all that embossing powder heated and to turn from a matte white to that nice glossy. And I think I'm going to get at least 2 good leaves. One maybe a little bit iffy. But you know what? We'll make it all work. There we go. That will do. Leaves are never perfect in nature anyway, so we will work with what we've got now. So pop those to one side. Let's grab our cut and emboss again. And we'll cut these out. Unfortunately, we can only do one at a time, so we'll just done that one. So Lorraine, you're getting ready for on stage. You need to start packing and finishing your swaps. Yeah, I haven't even started thinking about my swaps yet. Yeah, it is getting close, isn't it? I have my sister arriving from England the day after on stage here in Australia. And I think she arrives on the Sunday because it finishes on the Saturday and she arrives on the Sunday. We're actually staying in Sydney that Sunday as well. So, but I probably won't get to see her. But it'll still be exciting knowing she's in Australia. She's from England. So, but she'll be probably staying in the night somewhere in Sydney, and then travelling out to my parents after that. I haven't even started thinking about swaps. Really should, shouldn't I? Is everybody else going and doing swaps? Okay, let's get back to this card. So there's our original, there's our new one, and there's our card base. So let's adhere all of that together, and I'm just going to adhere those with the multi-purpose glue, just for the fact that I'm going to be using dimensionals underneath here anyway, underneath the flowers, I should say. Where in England? She lives down near Exeter, down the south end of England. I can never remember the name of the town she lives in, the little village, but it's not far out of Exeter. You're not going this year, Anita? Oh, it's a shame. I don't usually go to the 3-day ones myself, but just for the fact that this one is in Sydney, my husband we've booked our accommodation, because first off it was going to be held at Darling Harbour, and so we booked accommodation at Darling Harbour, and then they moved it. But we thought, no, we're staying at Darling Harbour, and he's going to go and do some touristy things and take lots of photos. But Cologne will be nice, Lorraine. At least you're closer to parts of England or parts of other countries and so forth where you can get to do that. I know a few people here have travelled around the other countries where they're held, but for me, it's just a little bit too far. Yeah. Well, you know what? Your health is probably a little bit more important, Anita. It was so wonderful the other year to see you, Lorraine. I mean, I've still got to scrap those photos. Lorraine and Diane from Canada, when they came out to Brisbane a couple of years ago. Was it a couple of years, 2 years ago now? They came down and visited Sydney, and I caught up with them in Sydney. So it was really wonderful. It just really made my day doing that, travelling to Sydney to see them. So it's fantastic. Okay, so I'm thinking of popping those there. I know I've put those scallops in there, and now all I'm doing is covering them up. So maybe we want to show them off just that little bit more. So we might bring those leaves out that way a bit more. So I'm just doing a bit of a dry fit. I mean, we could have cut that section of the scallops away and only just put them in the middle, but with not really knowing what I was going to do, it's a lot easier to just have the whole lot there and then just play and add. I tend to be very symmetrical in what I do on one side, I tend to like to do on the other. Now, I know I haven't put anything here, but I have a reason for that, and that's because I'm thinking my sentiment, I don't really want it to cover up. Let's do the sentiment, and then we can pop that on there and just see. We will meet again, Lorraine. We definitely will. And I know Joe enjoyed it as well. it's always good and to catch up with people you make friends with online. It's only thinking the other day, you know, I really love, it's really great being part of a fantastic family of people. You know, all these people I've met all around the world, and I haven't even stepped out of my own country. You know, you sort of have this able to meet up with people and get to know people through Stamping Up, and it's been fantastic. Now I'm just looking for a sentiment because I do want us to do something different. And I'm trying to think, what am I going to do? I do like always here for you. I might do that. I may not even use that yet. I might do a little bit of fussy cutting. I'm really stepping this card up a bit. Who says we have to do 2 cards the same? Okay, so let's just take that, and I'm going to ink this up. Yeah, it is, isn't it, Anita? And, you know, right now is probably one of the best times to join Stamping Up if you're thinking about it. If you're sitting on the fence, if you're watching us here and you're listening to us talking about all these fun things we're doing, and you're sitting there thinking, should you join, shouldn't you join? Look, talk to your demonstrator. If you don't have a demonstrator and you're here in Australia, you can always contact me. But if you have got a demonstrator, look, talk to them about it. Find out why they love Stamping Up. I mean, I love Stamping Up because I love the community. I have made probably my best friends are people in Stamping Up. And as we were saying before, I haven't necessarily actually even met them. We've got something in common, which is our crafting. And then we build up friendships. You know, we get to know people. I mean, you know, it's taking that time out of our busy schedules to do a bit of crafting, whether you're crafting together physically or you're crafting together online. It's just taking that time and spending it together, getting to know each other from different parts of the world. And you just tend to share things with people because you're forming relationships. And that is some of the beauty of being in Stamping Up, is you are forming relationships and everyone supports everyone. I've never met a group of people who just support people that they don't know, that they physically have never met, but they're there for you. You know you can contact them, you know you can talk to them, write them a note, text them, send them a card. Hey, what a great idea. Yeah, I was probably the same as you, Anita, but I had been a scrapbooker for many years, but I sat on the fence, and I'm not someone who does something really quickly. Like, I'm someone who has to think about things and make sure that's the right thing for me. And I'd been in Creative Memories, and I can tell you now that not necessarily with Creative Memories, but with other companies I've been in, I haven't made the friendships like I have through Stamping Up. But I mean, you sit on the fence for a while, you look about it, you look at it, you think about it. I mean, I was comparing 2 different companies to say which one do I want to be. You know, I'd been part of a design team for a scrapbooking shop here in the Southern Highlands, which had closed down, and I had built good friendships through there. So, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of things that I was looking for, but I've gained more than what I was looking for. I mean, I was looking for products, you know. I wanted something that was unique, something that was different. And I found that, you know, Stamping Up was unique. The products are unique. It's not like I can go into another shop and buy them anywhere. They belong to Stamping Up. So they're theirs. So I was looking for that. And then, you know, what I gained out of it was all those fantastic friendships. And I know now I'm probably starting to waffle, but I'm just cutting this. Now, I like to sometimes draw a bit of a line around my words before a fussy cut because it just gives me an idea of where I'm going to be cutting. And then if I want to take it a bit wider, I could just rub out those pencil lines or bring it in a bit closer or whatever I want to do. I have taken this one a little bit further out than I normally do, but let's just have a look. Just gives me a bit of a, let's take those lines out because we don't need those. Just go around the edges and get rid of them. Yeah, it is great help, great support. Yeah, it does become part of your life, Anita. It becomes sometimes a very important part of your life. Okay, I do like that there. So by putting something like something solid, I find sometimes can block too much of my focal point. But by fussy cutting something out, it just makes you it allows you to see the flowers through the words, if that makes sense. I could probably go around and cut that a little bit closer if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to leave that where it is right now. Now I'm happy with my layout here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lot of these out and I'm going to start with my flowers in the middle. So what I like to do, this one here in the middle is going to have dimensionals on. So let's just grab some dimensionals. And I tend to like to put only one or two, and I'll put them close to the center. And that's so then I can slip other things in. So I'm going to pop this one down first. So I work from the top down. Some people work from the bottom and work up. I work from the top down. So I'm going to pop that one in there. Now I'm going to bring these two in, and I'm actually going to put these two on with some multi-purpose glue. And again, I'm only putting glue in a certain area just for the fact that I want to be able to slip my leaves and everything else in around it. Now I'm gluing onto the ribbon here, so I'm just holding that down a little bit more there just to make sure that that's going to adhere, because that glue does have to soak a little bit into that fabric of that ribbon. And we're just going to poke that one into there like that. So just give those a hold for a couple of minutes. And then we can slip these ones in. So I want to have that one coming probably out there a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there and slip that underneath. Don't want to cover up those scallops too much. And I'm going to do the same because, as I said before, I'm a very symmetrical person. We went to Tasmania quite a few years ago. Well, it's a very long time ago now because it was before we had kids. My eldest child is now 30. And when we got back, all my photos were symmetrical. I took photos looking through windows, looking through doors, looking through a window at a tree, but everything the same was on both sides. It's quite amazing. You don't realise how you think until you actually start taking photos and then looking at how your photos turned out. Now I'm going to glue these ones on top of the white because the white leaves are quite bold. And I can't remember whether I had them underneath or on top of before, but I've just decided they're going to go on top. So let's pop this one down here. Again, keeping to my symmetrical way of thinking. Just want to pop Actually, I think I might have even had that coming out from over here a bit more. I might just pull that around a little bit. And I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to pull that out and just pull that around a little bit more. So it's coming out this way. Doesn't want to come out as much. That looks a bit better. Okay. Let's pop that onto there because then I can work out where the rest of my leaves are going to go. And I'm going to pop that up with, probably could use just a regular dimensional. Part of this is going to be up on dimensionals and the other part is going to be glued down. So then we don't have too many heights or things on slopes. And then that can go across there just like that. Let's just have a look. Just playing again, working out where I want these to go. I don't want to cover up that sentiment, but I do want to probably have a little bit of green. Maybe coming out like that. So let's just pop a little bit of glue on here. Just lift that up and pop that into there like so. Probably cover up that little bit of sentiment. That's fine. Now, do we need another leaf or not? We could probably get away with not. That's forming a little bit of a triangle with that, which can be quite nice. We could pop another one in there, actually. That fills up that hole, I think. That's what we might do, is pop that into there. So let's pop a little bit more glue on there. And again, just lift that up and slip that underneath. Just like that. Now, I've got, from my little kit that I had created for my class, I've got these 3 little dots. I do have some more here somewhere, but let's start with these 3 and see how we go. And I might pop one there. I want to create a triangle around my sentiment so it draws your eye to that sentiment. So we'll pop another one over there. I like my triangles to be an odd-shaped triangle, not to be, I know there is a proper name for all of this, but I can't remember. But I like to have it not so the 3 sides are even, if that makes sense. Got one. Now, where is this one going to go? We could go there. We could go down this way. I'm going to pop it there, actually. So there's our triangle there. It's a bit of an odd shape, but, you know, we've also got these leaves forming a little bit of a triangle, even though there's 4 sets, but it's sort of like that's a line. It's a little bit odd, but anyway, I think that works quite well. So there you are. There's my card. So it started off with, that was the card I did in my class this morning. This one here, we've just stepped it up a bit more and given it a little bit more of a punch. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. Now, my leaves here, I like to have them with a bit of lift in it. If you don't, you just pop a little glue dot underneath those and that will keep those down rather than using glue like a wet glue. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Jenny. Thank you for joining us. I will pop the written tutorial up for this card, but you'll be able to see that it's very easy to step that up with this other card from this tutorial here. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. I will get those up onto my blog hopefully sometime over the weekend. But otherwise, have a lovely weekend. Take care, and I will see you hopefully next Friday at 1 o'clock. I will enjoy on stage, Lorraine. You too. Take lots of photos and share, because I always love seeing, what people are doing everywhere. And I suppose I better start making some make and takes to hand out to people. Better start thinking on that one. So take care, everybody. Thanks, Nicole. Bye, Jane.